everyone, it's Becky. Welcome to my channel, Books and Beads. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I got tagged to do the off the top of your head book tag, so we're gonna be going through answering some of the questions from that tag. I was tagged by Belle's Library, so thank you so much, Sarah, for tagging me. That was super cool, and I loved hearing your responses, and I'm excited to dive into some of my answers for this tag. We'll be talking about children's books, books I liked growing up, other fun topics, so let's dive in. If you want to follow along and answer these questions in the comments or make a response video too, I'd love to see your answers to these tags. What was your favorite picture book as a child? I actually still have it, and this is a picture book that was handed down to me from my cousin, so it's actually a little bit before the time that I was growing up, but I love the artwork. It's Dean's Mother Goose Book of Rhymes. I just love this art style so much, and the art inside is beautiful. Look at the little mouse on the back. He's so cute. So this book is from 1977. It was illustrated by Janet and Anne Graham Johnstone. I think you can find some of their illustrations if you do a Google search or look on Pinterest. They have such beautiful, whimsical, magical style that I just love it so much. Like, look at even the little table of contents pages are so fun. I especially love the way they portray nature. Just the birds have so much character. The flowers are beautiful. They're just the perfect complement to all of the nursery rhymes in the book. And look at how she did the king. He looks like a playing card king, which is so clever. Like, oh my goodness. Oh, details of the clothing are some of my favorites, and the animals are my favorites. So gorgeous artwork, worth checking out. I loved it so much. This book is a little old. It's kind of falling apart. I actually took one of the pages and framed it and put it on one of the gallery walls in my house. I actually really love children's books, especially the ones from my time of growing up. I have a lot of nostalgia for them. So I do have a treasury of children's stories with illustrations. It's the 20th Century Children's Book Treasury. So there's all kinds of great children's books in this little treasury. It starts off with Madeleine. Who doesn't love Madeleine? I just love all of the artwork. And it's like, it's condensed to fit into all into the pages. So there's like smaller versions of the pages from the books, but oh my gosh, it's a great little walk down memory lane. Chicka Chicka Boom Boom, Good Night Moon, Make Way for Ducklings. I forgot about that one. Curious George. There's just so many good ones. I'm like, this is like bringing it all back. So that's something to check out if you loved colorful, artistic children's books when you were growing up and you want to share them with your kids. This is a great little treasury. Oh, Stellaluna. I forgot about Stellaluna. Oh, did you guys like Stellaluna? I loved Stellaluna. She's a bat. Look at her. She's so cute. And I actually have a story. So I loved this children's book growing up. A couple years ago, we went to Australia, and Australia has amazing wildlife. Like at every turn, there's just amazing like cockatoos flying around, the kangaroos are hopping. So we went to a park that was across from our hotel, and there were a lot of swans that were really beautiful. And then we kind of went into this wooded area, and there were signs that were like, look for the bat colony. And I was like, ooh, I want to see the bat colony. And it was the day before Halloween, and it was like twilight, and we start hearing like these chirpings, and we look up, and it's a ton of bats, and they're the big bats, the flying fox kind that are like fuzzy and cute like Stellaluna. So I was losing my mind. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. They were just starting to wake up because the sun was setting, and they had big wings. They were all hanging from the trees. It was so cool. So that's my Stellaluna story. So that was probably why I was excited to see them and not scared, because I had grown up with Stellaluna. Next question. What series did you love as a child? I really liked the Animorphs series of books. I loved the covers. The idea that you could like morph into an animal was so cool to me. I wanted to be an Animorph. I loved the kid that could turn into a hawk. Like, I thought that would be the coolest one to turn into. And I think he actually like ends up getting stuck as a hawk, and they had to deal with these like aliens too. The aliens were super interesting, and the thing that sticks out most to me from that series was like the aliens would like infect you in your ear, and so they had like a secret club of aliens, and to this was how they like knew you were an alien, is you would go to McDonald's and order a Happy Meal, extra on the happy, and that extra on the happy was like the code word to let them know that you were like also an alien, which makes it's so silly, but my mom and I used to say that a lot. We would be like, I want a Happy Meal, extra on the happy. I'll have to go back and check to see if that's real or if I made it up, but I'm pretty sure that came from the Animorphs books. I also loved the Bruce Coville unicorn series. I was very much into animals, as you can tell. So I liked that series as well, because who doesn't love magical unicorns? The worst book you have read or tried to read. Oh, I like to give every book a chance. I will say I did read the first 50 Shades of Grey book, and it was all right, but I had to give up on the second 50 Shades of Grey book. That was too much for me. It follows Twilight so closely, and it did start its life as Twilight fan fiction, but I think a little bit more editing would have helped it be its own story more. There are some parts that are just like almost word for word the same as Twilight. But the second book I gave up after he like breaks up with her and she's sad, and so she starts like hugging this balloon that reminds her of him, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I draw the line at hugging a balloon, so I just gave up on that series. I think I did watch all of the movies, but the movies aren't great either, because the main characters like have no chemistry. I think they hated each other in real life, so I don't know, that's kind of a doomed series for me. So those are maybe not my favorite, but I can see why a lot of people liked them. Favorite reading or book memory? I have to say, I think growing up when the Harry Potter series was coming out in live time, in real time, was truly amazing. Going to all of those midnight releases for the new books was super special. It started in middle school. I think the last one came out my senior year of high school, so all my friends and I went to the midnight release of the 7th Harry Potter book. It's just so cool, and that's like, that doesn't happen as often. It doesn't happen a lot with books. I thought it was a super special time, and I really felt like I was growing up with these characters. When the movies came out, the actors are the same age as me, so I was growing up alongside Harry and all of his friends. So that's something really special, and it's hard to beat that. I will say reading the ACOTAR series for the first time almost captures that level of magic, but I think just growing up with Harry and all of his friends and getting to experience the midnight releases and getting to experience all of those crazy plot twists in real time was just truly special. So it's hard to top that. Book you loved as a movie. I'm going to mention it again. I've probably mentioned it in every video I've done so far. Atonement by Ian McEwan. Great book. The movie is great as well. It follows the book pretty closely. I think they change a few things, but still pretty faithful. I love that movie, and the casting is amazing, and not enough people talk about it. It has Keira Knightley in it and James McAvoy. It's the beginning of Saoirse Rowan's career. I think that was one of her first movies. Benedict Cumberbatch is in it. I think it's one of his first movies, which that was the first movie I'd ever seen Benedict Cumberbatch in, and it kind of ruined him for me. Because I don't think he's a good character in that movie. So every time I saw him after that, I was like, oh no, it's that guy. And it kind of ruined Saoirse for me too, because I was like, oh, it's Bryony. But she's pretty little in that movie, so she's grown up now, and I do like her as an actress. I think she's really good, but for a while there I was like, oh, not Bryony. But it also has Juniper, I forget her last name, but she is on what is that show called? The one with soccer. Ted something. You know, Ted. I'm totally blanking on the name. My husband would know it because he loves it, but she's on that show too. And a lot of those actors were also in the other Boleyn Girl, which is funny. And I think Theon from Game of Thrones is in that movie too. So there's a lot of great actors in that movie. It's a beautiful film, heartbreaking, but so good. So that is a movie that I've loved. Not a movie, but a series. The first season of Game of Thrones is like spot on to the book. They really got it right on that one. A book you wish they would make into a movie. A book that I loved, that I kind of pictured as a movie as it was happening, was The Unmaking of June Farrow. I think that would be an excellent movie because you kind of read it like you're watching a movie. I could see it all happening clearly in my mind. So I think that would make a great movie. There's a love story, there's intrigue, there's a mystery. I think it would be wonderful. Another one that I think would be a great movie is The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshani Chokshi. I loved that book. Again, really like beautiful imagery. It's mysterious. It's a little dark. I think that would be a really fun movie to do. Another one that I wish they would make into a live action movie is The Last Unicorn. There is a cartoon version of this book from the 70s that it's good, but it just misses the mark of being great. There's some truly incredible moments in that movie that I can just picture as a live action movie. I think it would be epic. And I even went so far as to pick out who I would cast in the movie, but that was a while ago. I might have to update my casting list, but I wish they would turn The Last Unicorn into a live action movie. Book character that you would like as a friend. I think Luna Lovegood from Harry Potter would be an amazing friend. She's just so sweet, so pure. She's a little cinnamon roll. She would be a wonderful friend. You would always be entertained because she's got all of her theories. She's very creative. She paints on her ceiling. She makes earrings. I think we would get along because I am also a creative person. I make bookmarks. I make jewelry. I cross stitch. So I think she would be an excellent friend to have. I think we have a lot in common. I think we're both a little kooky. We could just go antiquing together. I would love to go to some wizarding antique shops. I bet you those are out of this world. But yeah, I think she would be a wonderful friend to have. Other book characters that I think would be good friends. Feyre from ACOTAR, I think she'd be a good friend. She might get a little absorbed in her world, but I think she would be a good friend to have because she's pretty loyal and she's fierce. She'll stick up for you. She'll fight for you. Place you want to visit because of a book you read. I want to visit Scotland. It is on the top of my vacation destination list, and that is because partly, it's just beautiful. It's also because of Outlander. Outlander takes place in Scotland, and just especially the show, in the show, you just see how beautiful Scotland is. But I'm convinced if I go to Scotland and touch some stones, I will time travel. So I think Scotland would be a beautiful destination to visit. And other movies that are related to books were filmed there as well. You can go to a lot of the Harry Potter filming locations that are in Scotland. So there's a lot of bookish things you can do there. UK in general, you could do a whole Jane Austen tour in Bath and other spots in the UK. So Scotland's at the top of my list. And Outlander has a lot to do with that. I actually have Scottish ancestry. My mom's really into genealogy, and she traced us back to this family. I think it's the Noctolian clan, and there is a Noctolian castle that's still standing. So I'm convinced, if I go there and touch those castle walls, I will be transported to another time, another place. So would love to go to Scotland. A nonfiction book you would recommend. I've been doing some nonfiction reading this year. I did some memoirs. Jennette McCurdy's I'm Glad My Mom Died was a really interesting nonfiction memoir. And I actually listened to the audiobook, which is narrated by Jennette, which was really powerful. She holds it together so well. Some of the things she has to say when reading her own book are just oh my gosh, I can't believe you can stay composed while you're reading it. So that's a really interesting look into a Hollywood child star's life. Love biographies too of like historical figures. I read Georgiana, Duchess of Devonshire. The movie The Duchess is based on this biography. Amanda Foreman does a great job of bringing this historical figure to life. I love a good historical biography. So historical biographies of figures that I'm interested in. I like to read about Princess Diana too. And this lady, I think, is an ancestor of Princess Diana on the Spencer side. Biographies, memoirs, celebrity memoirs, those are good nonfiction picks. And last, if you could hang out with an author all day, who would you pick and why? This is a really good question. I want to say Brandon Sanderson because I want to see how he writes so much, what his process is, and he's so witty and funny. I'd love to like see how he operates in person when you're talking to him. I bet he has a lot of interesting stories. Neil Gaiman would be another interesting guy to hang out with. He just seems so spooky and cool. Sarah J. Maas would be an interesting one to hang out with because she's so famous. Like, what is her life like now that ACOTAR is so big? So that would be interesting to see, like, how that works. And she's, like, my age, so it would be interesting to see what we have in common, what she likes to do, see if we have any common ground. You know what? I'd also like to meet John Grisham because I'd like to know, is that just a name for a ghostwriter situation? Because there are so many John Grisham books. Like, is that all by one person? Is John Grisham real? I'm sure he is. All right, I think I've answered all of the questions in the off the top of your head book tag. Let me know what your answers for some of those questions would be. Leave them in the comments. Make sure to leave a like. And as always, make sure to subscribe, follow along so we can talk about all the books, all the crafts. I would love to have you as a book bestie. So I will see you for the next one. Bye.